welcome back, listeners, to Podcast Demastered. I am here with Chelsea, as always, and we are talking today about a video game that has existed since like 1999. It's kind of old, maybe 2000. I don't remember like specifically when it came out, but this game is Final Fantasy IX. If you have ever played a Final Fantasy game, hopefully you've played 9, but you kind of know what we're talking about. But if you haven't played it, that's okay too. We're going to be talking a lot about it, and there will be spoilers, I'm sure, for a game that's been out now for 25 years. But, you know, that's fine. If you weren't spoiled by Final Fantasy VII Remake, you'll be okay here too. So, I guess this is our second Final Fantasy episode, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Chelsea to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake a bit ago. And from there, she was like, I'm ready for another one. So we went OG on this one, on old school, and jumped into 9. So, Chelsea, tell us about your first time now with Final Fantasy IX.
Yes, this was really interesting because, yeah, going from remake to this was a little different.
That's some culture shock for you, for sure.
Yes, for sure. And so it definitely felt more of like what it probably was like to play, like just in general, all the previous Final Fantasy games. It's kind of back to that style of kind of that turn-based gameplay exploration with lots of characters. I will say right off the bat, as much as you've talked about this game, Wade, and how it's your favorite and like emotional level, I thought I was in for a completely devastating game all the way through. Like,
oh, you thought it was gonna be like terrible awfulness and everybody's dying and
yes, and everybody's dead at the end.
Okay,
yeah,
no, it's a different kind of emotional.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, and it's not like it didn't have super low moments with like the mix of highs, but I guess in general how I view Final Fantasy games is sometimes it's just kind of like end of the world vibes. Everybody's dying. It's terrible.
Well, Final Fantasy VII, especially the remake, yeah, they really give you that vibe. But even the original 7 was not like, oh god, the sky is falling and everybody's dying. It wasn't as like doom and gloom as the remake tends to be.
Okay.
A little bit. So like they're a little more lighthearted with still carrying that emotional weight through like the characters' developments and the story beats and stuff like that. If, like, we could go back to 2000 and play Remake, like, that style of storytelling, I think we would have been absolutely, like, blown out of the water and depressed all the time. Like, our anxiety would be higher than it is.
Yeah. So it was a nice surprise with 9 to see how well, I think in general, how well it did a mix of that humor with those serious aspects, because there are some really funny moments in this game, just really quirky characters and just silly interactions where I just kept cracking
that is
up.
Such like old school Final Fantasy. Like they're here to entertain you and be silly and have fun until like Sephiroth comes dropping down from the ceiling to kill Aerith, you know? Yeah. It's very much like that, and 9's not a stranger to that as well.
Yeah. And so I definitely, that was the highlight for me, was like the characters and the story. To be honest, the gameplay is not for me. Like the battle system and everything, I was just, that was a slug for me.
That's fair. That's fair, because even amongst Final Fantasy fans, Final Fantasy IX's battle system, while it's turn-based, it's slow. It is so slow, and that's for me too. This is my favorite Final Fantasy game, and I know that. Like, that's not escaping me. Thank God that they have like the speed up feature.
Yes.
Because every time I play Final Fantasy IX, that thing is on all the time. Constantly.
Yeah. Except I had problems where I realized if you have the speed up feature on, like, before a cutscene, it'll speed through the cutscene, and that happened to me a couple times, and I got very upset. At least on the version I played. Yeah. And I was like, no, I just want to speed up through the battles and not the cutscenes. I'm here for looking to the story.
I wish other like modern ports like that, they'll do that. They'll speed through the battles, but they won't speed through. They can leave it on and it won't speed through like the cutscenes and stuff like that, which is great. I love that. But yeah, I wish 9 did that, because then you start speeding through like the fun moments and stuff like that. It's like, oh crud. Whoops.
Yeah, so I definitely adjusted that constantly throughout the game, just trying to do that, kind of finding that balance. But yeah, no, battles, I set it to auto battles. I was just like, whatever, I don't want to deal with the stuff. Sure, I'll equip some weapons,
auto battle
whatever.
Yeah, auto battle is good too, and you have like on the new fancy ports, you can like make it to where your character's attacks do max damage constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if you're just there for the story, do that. Like it's okay. You're not like you can either delve into the battle or you could skip it.
Yeah.
Essentially, and that's okay. For the first time, I did that in this run through. This latest run through, I used the auto battle, like the help thing, to just fly through the battles because whatever, man, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to see that in a game, especially for this being an older game, and then they're like porting into like newer system stuff since I played on the PS5. But having those abilities, if it's not your type of game and you're just here to like enjoy the experience, and like you can kind of skip through the things that you don't care about, or that would be a problem. Because I know one of the other things you can turn off too is like the kind of like being like the safety or whatever, so you don't have like random encounters throughout the world and battles that way. So it can make it going quicker through some areas.
Oh yeah, and I turned that off a lot too. But like, see, I have this thing. I have played Final Fantasy IX from start to finish, like completing all of the side quests, all of the stuff so many times. I can't really do a playthrough and like leave that stuff out. It pains me. So one, having the fast forward option is great because I can still go out of my way to do that stuff without literally taking hours to do it. But also, like, I don't know, I have played just about every version of Final Fantasy IX there is, except for I didn't ever buy the mobile ports because no thank you.
Yeah.
It's the same game. It's just nothing. I'm good. But I got to play it on the Switch this time. I almost platinumed it just like a year ago, maybe less than a year. I don't remember. I beat it the last time on the PS5 to like get the trophies, but then I looked at some of the trophies. This was right after I had platinumed Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, that wasn't so bad. Like, just go out and do the stuff. I'll do all the stuff, and you're good to go. 9 is not as nice about it at all, and I didn't appreciate that. So I will not be getting the platinum trophy on 9 anytime soon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I glanced at those when I was playing the game because I was like, oh, I'm just curious, like I didn't platinum, remake or anything, and I was like, I'm just here for the, experience. And I saw some of the trophies and I went, I couldn't do that. Like the jump roping game or whatever at the very beginning.
Absolutely not.
I was like, I don't know how people can do this. I don't know. I barely got like 2, I think. Or maybe I had like 10 at most or something. It was
I usually try to get like 10 or 50. Like there's some like silly item you can get by getting to like one of those 2 things. And I try to do that and then I move on because we're not doing that.
Okay.
But yeah, there are crazy
like 5,
people who do that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I mean, 5's not bad though, because like once it starts to speed up, the other trophy that is an absolute pain to get in 9 is the card game.
Is it called
Tetramaster? Tetramaster. So in Final Fantasy VIII, if I can jump back a bit, Final Fantasy VIII has a card game also. It's called Triple Triad. And it is the greatest thing on this planet. Like, it is the king. Like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gets a card game. And it's very like Triple Triad. This game was perfect. It takes the whole game to play. Playing the game is not difficult. Like, understanding how it works, it's fine. It's fine. Then they throw some curveballs at you with the ruling system later on. But it's fine. It's like, oh, the world is ending. Hey, you want to play some cards? It's like, okay, let's do it. Because matches are fast. And then 9 hits, and they're like, well, we got to keep it going. They make Tetramaster, which is, again, very similar to Triple Triad, except it's awful. They're like, hey, you like rules? You like card games and like rules and stuff? Too bad. Go to hell.
Okay, so I'm not the only one who struggles with with that.
No,
okay,
not at all. Like if they got rid of Tetramaster or just made it Triple Triad 2, like there would be world peace within Final Fantasy.
Oh my gosh!
Like it'll screw you over night and day because it's like, did you want to learn how to play the game? Too bad, just do it. So the AI is just constantly just like pounding you into the ground, and you're like, I don't understand what's happening.
Oh my gosh, no, that was so ridiculous because. Yeah, I could not understand that game. Like, I thought I would understand it, and then it was like, nope. But I didn't randomly challenge anybody. I just did it when it was part of the story quest that you had to at least do a couple rounds. And it took me a little bit on some of them, but
well,
I
that's
was
like the
I'm done.
third disc. That's like way over into the game too. It's not even like, well, we'll teach it to you at the beginning and you can just do what you want. Now, disc 3, they're like, hey, card tournament for the story, go. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't done that at all. Like, oh, you don't have any, you have like 5 cards that you got at the beginning of the game. Deal
Yeah.
with it.
I know, because I was like, because they introduced it early on about like, oh, here's a game you could play. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And I was like, sure, I'll try around. And I went, nope, never again. Bye.
Yes. If we ever play Final Fantasy VIII, you'll play Triple Triad, and you'll be like, oh god, like the eye roll I just gave. It is so much straightforward. And the board is just a 3x3 grid.
Oh, okay.
Instead of like the 4x4 or 5x5 one of a Tetramaster.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's much shorter. You can play like 3 or 4 cards, you're done. Moving on. And you only got like 5 cards in your hand. Which actually I think that's the same as Tetramaster.
Yeah, it's at least like 4 or 5, something like that.
But that's it. That's the end of it. But the thing about Triple Triad is that if you lose a match, you lose a card too. Mm-hmm. Like, the people will take your cards. And yeah, you want that card back, you gotta go win it back from them. you gotta get them again. Which is the frustrating thing about Triple Triad. Because that's also how you get new cards. You just take them from your opponent at the end of matches. Mm-hmm. So, like, at the end of the game, you have, like, a full set of, like, character cards, which are, like, the best cards in the game. You mess up and you lose and they take one. You're like, oh, shit, not only do I have to get your card, but I have to win my card back. Like, just save before.
Yes.
Cut out the nonsense and save before.
So... that was also tricky, too. I had a little bit of difficulty navigating the different maps and trying to remember where I was. But once I got used to some of those areas, be like, okay, that's where I have to save, or I have to go back on this path now, going this way, or don't go that way. I've already been that way 20 times.
But, you have fast forward turned on. So you're just kind of like zipping around everywhere.
Yes. Luckily.
Yeah, right. Just zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah. Which... I realized I didn't unlock all the modes of transportation, apparently. And I wasn't trying not to. Or, because I think you can get a chocobo in this game.
Oh, no, you didn't do chocobo hot and cold?
No, I don't know how I missed it.
Game ruined. Replay. Actually, I think you can just, like, you still have, like, full perfect access to it. You can still just go do it.
Okay.
But no, that's a big thing. You get Boko the chocobo, and you get to, like, play, like, a hot and cold game, where, like, you, like, peck at the ground, and it's like, oh, cold, go over here, warm, warm, warm. And you collect items that way, but then that unlocks Boko in the world map, so you can ride around on him, but you can upgrade him by doing that, so then he can get in the water, he can move over the mountains, which, until he can literally just go everywhere in the world. But that's how you also find lots of really good equipment and items later on. Like there's like 1 or 2 ultimate weapons for the characters that you find that way.
Well, I failed, apparently.
Yeah, that is depressing. Oh, poor Boko.
I don't know how I missed it.
If you go into the first Chocobo Forest down... Oh my god!
I don't think I went to a chocobo forest.
outside Lindblom, I think there's the first.
Okay.
It's by the first swamp. Also, they're kind of side by side. If you go in there, you'll run into the Moogle who will like introduce you to Boko, and then like, oh, play this game for me, but I'm gonna like charge you for it because I'm a jerk. It's like 50 gil. It's like nothing. Yeah, those Moogles indeed. But yeah, that's how you do it, so...
Okay, well,
yeah.
Sorry, listeners, that I missed out on such a vital part of the game. I wasn't even, I was just at the point, just trying to figure out where I was going next, and I guess I missed a lot because I didn't search certain areas, but...
Old Final Fantasy games are like that. They don't, it's, if you don't go over here and look at this or talk to this person, you miss out, and that's okay. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
Newer games have really, I don't know... held our hand a lot. Like, don't worry, you won't miss it if you're paying attention. Like, they'll tell you, you'll get a quest, you'll get something, But nope, in older games, there isn't like a quest log. No big fancy flashing screen when you start a side quest or anything like that, so.
But I was impressed with how big the world was and how much you could explore in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I didn't, spend all my time doing that, but there was definitely, I could tell there was a lot to explore and different ways to go. And definitely some areas where I was holding my breath that I knew the correct way to get through some of the tunnels by doing the different switches and whatnot to make sure I go down the correct path. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get stuck in here. But no, luckily I was able to get out without a problem.
All the dungeons, like with the Gargans, and like catching rides on the Gargans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not like hard, but it's just like, let me out of here.
Yeah.
Fast forward.
Exactly.
Fast forward.
Yes.
But you do it like twice, I think. It's not like some big, terrible thing.
No, it's not at all. But at first, it seems daunting. You're like, oh, how complicated is this going to be? But you're like, no, it's fine. It just takes a moment or two. But yeah. And you just get that variety of activities. You have those battles. You have the different little puzzles, per se. And I did unlock one of the, like, rare items. It's because I stumbled across it, like, a mention of the item, and I was like, oh, what's this? So I looked up a guide, and I found it.
Oh, what was it? What did you get?
It was the Excalibur sword through, like, the auction. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a tidbit for you. There's actually an Excalibur 2. But I've never gotten it because I didn't care to do it. But basically, it's Steiner's ultimate weapon.
Okay.
Like his actual ultimate weapon, but you have to play the entire game and get to like one of the final areas in the whole game before, like, it's like a handful of rooms before the final boss, and within like 12 hours or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and as I've said, I can't play the game without doing all the extra stuff, and can you still do all of that within 12 hours? I don't want to find out. I'm fine. Steiner
we're all gonna watch you play that speed.
Yeah. Oh God.
Speed round.
I mean, if I settled in to do it, I mean, maybe, but I'm fine. Steiner has lots of good, like, end game weapons. He don't need Excalibur 2.
No.
That's one of the trophies that I'll never get. It's fine. Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
I can tell you how to get everybody else's ultimate weapon, because none of them are particularly difficult, except that one. Because I just don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin my own experience just to get to the end.
And that's okay.
In 12 hours. Gross. No way. No way.
No, that's just crazy. Yeah, because I feel like in general, there's a lot with the cutscenes and just all the different dialogue options that you would be missing out on or really, really speeding through. Especially if it was your first time playing that, you miss out on a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Which, it was fun, talking. I did try to talk to, like, everybody I came across, though, because I was just curious of random things
that's
they
okay, because, I mean... Like, if it's either short and sweet, or it's, like, funny. So, you miss out a lot of, like, personality by not talking to people. Final Fantasy is really good about world building, giving you a reason to care, stuff like that. They're good about that.
And also talking to other people will give you hints about certain things, or if you've clicked on everything and somebody's like, I'm looking for this book in the library, and then you stumble across that book and you go back to the guy and you're like, hey, your book's over here. He's like, thanks so much.
Yeah. Oh, good. So you did get, was that Deguero or whatever it's called? Did you find that place?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because that's an optional place. You don't have to go there ever. Good for you.
You. So I went to a lot of places. I just didn't go to some of them to get a chocobo or
Well, I mean, like, the chocobo forest, you can't really pinpoint it on the world map because it's literally just like a domed forest. There is no, like, specialness from the outside. But just by running through it, you would be like, oh, like, I can hit X and enter it.
I see. Yeah. Because I didn't do, I know you could, like, catch a bunch of frogs and stuff. Like, I was introduced to that at one point, and I was like, that's okay. I don't need to catch frogs. I have a story to
I don't really do
complete.
that. You can catch, like, 100, and you get Quina's ultimate weapon, and some other fancier equipments and some stuff like that. But I've never done that because, like, that's time-consuming, and I'm fine.
Yeah, that's fair. So, question about the characters.
Okay.
Are any of the characters optional to get? Or, like, do you actually eventually run to all the characters to be part of your party?
You will eventually have all of them.
Okay.
However, you can get Quina before you're supposed to get Quina. Which is actually kind of funny, because if you leave Lindblom for the first time, which is the same time that you can get a chocobo, you can go to the swamp and pick them up and have them for a good while. But then there's a point where you lose them. The point where... Alexandria is attacking Clara, maybe? I think. You'll lose Quina. Like, you'll be completely separated from them.
Yes, I do remember that.
Does your party worry about that at all? No, they don't.
No.
Because Zidane's like, oh, they must have died, and then like moving on, and it's like, oh, why you gotta be like that? Yeah, and then eventually you get to the point where they're like, oh, like we have to go to the other continent, so go to the swamp, and then like that's where like the tunnel to Fossil Rue is or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll either find them for the first time or you'll pick them back up.
Okay.
But otherwise, no. Every character will be yours eventually.
Okay, got it. So that means I picked up Quina really early on then. Okay, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's always good to have. Because otherwise you're just like missing a fourth party member. And it's like, oh god. Like, those battles would be not fun.
Yeah. Was Quina annoying? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Were they supposed to be, though? Like, yeah, they're definitely that character. I find them very charming and cute, though. Like just... we have this big world-ending plot and terrible things, and you're just worried about like finding your tasties and like making good food. Like, you know what? Preach it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we see. We see a wide variety of characters with very different personalities, and also like Quina's like that because I feel like they're not exposed to like the outside world or anything else. And like just very simple.
But they're just so like nonplussed by like what's happening too. Like it's just like, you know,
like
if I get like sent over the edge of a cliff, I'll land in a river and I'll be fine. Like it's okay
because there's food I think by me, so I'll be good.
Yeah, sniff it out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The amount of times that they do sniff out food and do try to like jump off of moving vehicles and or cliffs or like whatever waterfalls to find it is a thing. Absolutely a thing.
Well, I feel like everybody else in the party is like, okay, anyway, let's keep
they're just like, I mean, if you wanna, you can just go, I guess.
Like, we're not gonna come back for you, I guess, but shh.
But they are a trusted comrade.
Oh, man, yes.
Eventually. I mean,
well, I think that's,
nobody has any actual problems with them,
No, it's just more of just like eye roll, like, you're such a child, basically. Even though we have literal children made up of everybody else.
Literal children. Amaranth.
Oh my gosh. I think this game was so crazy because also I had to remember like every single time you unlocked a character and it had like that little like screen that popped up with like their stats and their ages, and I had to be like, these are all like children, teenagers, like this is insane. Wow. And the amount of trauma everybody goes through in this game, and just like this game is all just about like finding yourself and their journeys. It's just crazy.
But that's why I love it though. So like I got Final Fantasy IX. It wasn't right when it came out. It was 2001, maybe something like that. It was before I played Kingdom Hearts, I'll tell you that. And I had played Final Fantasy VIII was my first game. My first Final Fantasy game. Okay. So I loved 8 so much. But then when 9 came out, 9 was just, it was different. It was a big throwback. At that point, it was like a love letter to what Final Fantasy was. It was the last Final Fantasy made by the creator of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi. But it was also his favorite. It ended up being his favorite. And I think after that, he like even retired, essentially. So he went off with like a bang. It was also Nobuo Uematsu, the composer for most of Final Fantasy. It was also his final like full solo game that he was the sole composer for. He went on to do 10, but he also had help with 10 as well. And that's also his favorite soundtrack. And so, like 11, 12-year-old Wade playing this game for the first time, going through that stage of life where you are learning and you're experiencing new feelings and stuff like that. This game hit me really, really hard. And all this, all like the life lessons and stuff that the game teaches you along the way, Some of my favorite things, like I don't know if you like bothered to do this, but at the beginning, like on the start menu, you know how like in the olden times, if you don't press start, like you get this fancy like video, like a trailer almost. Well, I don't know if you bothered to watch the one for 9, but what happens is that you get these flashes of the characters that is like them, but then they have like a keyword and then a quote from the game that ties things to, like, it really like personifies their journey. Like Zidane, the main character, his word is virtue. And his quote is, "You don't need a reason to help people," which he says several times in the game. You get Vivi, our little baby boy. Vivi's this sorrow. How do you prove that you exist? Maybe we don't exist. You know, you have Garnet, devotion. Someday I will be queen, but I will always be myself. You know, like these things that really wrap up their individual stories. And there's so, you know, everybody has one. There's more.
Yeah.
But the one that hit hardest for me, I think, was Aiko. And her story, and her word is solitude. And quite simply, she says, "I don't want to be alone anymore." And she's like 6. She's so little, and she is the survivor of a race of people who like no longer exist, and she lives out in the boonies on a different continent with the Mughals. Like, she is her own person, and she's 6. You know, that is rough. That is so just... And she meets Vivi, and... Poor Vivi. He's just a little baby, and he's just trying to, like, figure out what it means to be human, and she's, like, bossing him around, acting like an adult all the time. Like, you leave him alone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, these characters really do go through, like, their own individual journeys through, like, their self-discovery or just learning how to cope with so many things. And it's funny, not really funny, but as I was playing the game, I was like, we're focusing on, like, you know, we have a lot of main characters, but, like, we also have, like, our main character, but we were seeing so much of everybody else's story, and I was like, and then we get full circle with, like, everybody's stories, and a lot of characters finding out the truth of where they came from and coping with that. And also the thing about, like, they were, like, either brought up for a particular reason and learning if that's who they truly are, or if they can be their own people and choose their own path.
And for so many of these characters, like, that story fits, you know, like they were born this way, they were supposed to be this, but does that make them who they are? You know, I mean, Zidane, Vivi, Garnet, Aiko, so many of them fall into that one specific little category. And sometimes, they go on to be that thing, and they learn how to, like, be their own person too, but many of them are, like, completely rejecting the reality of it, you know, which when I was little, Vivi's story was, like, the biggest thing, you know, because his thing is like, well, because, you know, the beginning you run into the rest of the black mages, and Vivi's like, oh my god, I'm one of them, but oh my god, they're killing everybody. But also, like, they don't have, like, a consciousness. They're not fully sentient. Why am I different? You know, why am I different? Why do I look different? Why is this happening to me? And he's trying to balance, like, the fact that, well, the rest of my people are out here killing everybody, but I don't want to do that. And then just as quickly, he's met with this reality that they are not meant to live. Yeah. At least not for long. You know, you go and you find the rest of the sentient black mages at the Black Mage Village, and they're doing great. They have their own little society, but then Vivi finds out that, well, they're also dying. They just stop moving. Yeah. So then the question becomes, well, like, what's it mean to live? And, you know, for Vivi, good lord, Vivi's like 3, technically, you know? He's only been, like, awake for, like, 3 years or something. And so how long is he going to live? Nobody seems to really know. Like, the rest of the black mages can't tell him that because he's not quite the same. As an actual child, that hit me the most. But now, like, replaying through, I get really caught up in, like, Zidane and Garnet. Their storylines. Also, this is one of my favorite romances in Final Fantasy. It's not my favorite. It's not my number 1, but it might be my number 2. How they grow to, like, depend on each other, but they don't, like, know it yet, you know? And Zidane being just a shameless flirt. Garnet being a princess who doesn't, like, fully understand. You know? No. Anything, you know? But then when she starts to grow on him, he's kind of going through, like, his existential stuff closer to the end. Yeah. And then, like, how his story ties into, like, Kuja, the main villain. Like, heart-shattering for me. Yeah.
It was such an interesting thing, because there's, like, the story just has layers upon layers. You keep peeling them back. You're dealing with, like, reveals of certain characters, and then it comes about, oh, this is our, like, main villain, but wait, there's such this big connection to our main character. And, like, because Zidane has been looking for his place. Like, also, he was definitely hiding behind his, like, flirty attitude, his carefree positivity.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
He was bearing so much of his pain. He didn't know where he came from. He always thought he could get back to that place, but he was in the moment and just almost finding distractions in other people and being a dramatic flirt. And then
absolutely
him having to face the answer he's actually been wanting, and then realizing that there's more to him than he realizes, and that he cannot be the person that he was created to be.
And, you know, and the great thing about the older Final Fantasy plots is that you have the cast, you have the villain, they all have these big personal stories, but, like, the story, like, the main plot, the destruction of the world, whatever it might be in the game, you know, tied to the villain, is not disconnected from their personal journeys. They are tied right in behind that. Which, you know, for a lot of the games are like that. Like, look at 10. I know you've played a tiny, tiny bit of 10, right? Maybe?
No, I haven't actually played 10.
You haven't.
I own the game. Yes, I haven't played it, yes.
And 10 is very much like that as well. Where you have all of the personal stories kind of growing and feeding off of each other in rhythm with the main plot. Like, they are connected. You cannot have one without the other. And 9 is absolutely like that. Like, when you get the main, like, the big plot drop that Zidane and Kuja are kind of brothers. Where Kuja was being used. So, like, you have, oh my gosh. So, you have the planet that they're on, Gaia. And you have this other planet, Terra. Terra is a very old planet. A very, very old planet that has basically survived for millennia by absorbing other planets, essentially. Like, you know, it works, it's fine. But it gets to a stage where they get to Gaia and it cannot absorb the planet. It's just too old, it's too weak. Its inhabitants' souls are just like, they're dying out. They just can't do it anymore. So you get this plot by Garland, who is a throwback to the original Final Fantasy villain in the first game. Like the name Sharon, where basically Garland is like, it's fine, you know, the cycle of souls and how it's like a reincarnation-y kind of thing. When people die on Gaia, we'll just make it to where their souls have nowhere else to go, and we can cycle in our planet's souls into that cycle with the crystal, so that eventually, when the planets merge, we have a new planet, and our people have new bodies to go into, essentially. And Kuja was created to, like, create death and destruction. He was an angel of death. He was to go to the planet. He was to shake things up and make people kill each other to speed up the process of reincarnation, or essentially like soul cycling. But Zidane was created as, like, the perfect manifestation of that. Kuja, in a jealous fit, basically just Supermaned Zidane. Just kind of picked Zidane up and chucked him at the planet and said, no, get out. Like, this is my job. So Zidane grew up not knowing where he came from, and when Garland told the two of them how this was to work, Zidane was leveled because, like, he doesn't want to be an angel of death. Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure. But Kuja also
He's an angel of love. No.
He's an angel of love, yeah. Garnet's, like, vomiting off screen somewhere.
Yeah.
And Kuja is like, oh, I have finite years, because Kuja thought he could basically live forever. You know, it's fine, whatever. But no, actually, I'm going to die, because Zidane is meant to replace me. I was not meant to be immortal. And so he, in a hateful rage, he destroys all of Terra, and basically is like, I'll just destroy Gaia too. I'll kill everybody. If I have to go down, everybody will go down with me. And that's just so tragic. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of also like, was he really the real, like, villain in the end because of how he was brought up and how he was created? You have to look at Garland, and Garland,
he's an
likes,
amazingly tragic villain, like, amazingly tragic. Could he have been different, you know? Yeah, but Zidane goes through the same thing. Was I meant to, like, become this? Is that who I'm supposed to be? Although Kuja is not as understanding. That poor boy, he has the emotional maturity of a 5-year-old, you know, being told no for the first time in his life, essentially.
Yeah. It's also this weird, like, nature versus nurture type thing with them because of, like, where Zidane, like, was not there under, like, Garland's, you know, kind of control in a sense. And it's just, they're different experiences. But yes, in the end, yeah, Kuja just can't quite see the same thing that Zidane sees.
No, but then, you know, he does throw his fit, and he does try to destroy, tries to destroy the crystal itself, which would be the end of the world. It would be the end of, like, the universe, essentially. Of course, though, in a final fight, you stop it. Having a weird encounter with death itself, because why not? You know, just fine.
Obviously, you know.
It's a joke in the Final Fantasy. Like, the fact that Necron is there as the final boss, and it's not just Kuja. People like to joke about that a lot. Like, okay, it's just a final boss, whatever. But then when they come back and Kuja is very, like, over it, like, please just leave me to die. Go and live a happy life. I'm sorry about everything. And Zidane is like, no, I'm going to stay here with you.
Yeah.
But then you're led to believe, you know, and he's got to say goodbye to Garnet and everybody else, you know, because he's like, I don't know if I'll come back, but I know I have to go do this.
Like, did you really have to do it? But you know,
you don't need a reason to help somebody, Chelsea.
I know, you're right. Yes, he has such a good heart. Yes.
And so the fact that, you know, the beginning of this whole game is started where, like, Zidane and his cast of people are hired to kidnap Garnet. Right? And she's all like, actually, I want you to kidnap me, so let's go, because my mom is freaking crazy and I need answers. So the end, he's all like, this is the end of your kidnapping, like, go on now. Yeah. And Garnet is she's trying to be, like, the strong one. She's trying to, like, you know, you come back to me. I don't care what it takes. And so Zidane finds Kuja. They kind of reconcile as brothers, you know. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. But then, like, you think they both die. They get attacked at the end, and you think that's the end, and then the tears start. Like, okay, this is my thing. So you get this tearful goodbye from Vivi.
Yeah.
It's like time has passed. You don't know how much time has passed, but time has passed. And you see all of the characters, all the main cast, they are kind of going about their own kind of happy endings. And you see how their stories wrap up. But the whole thing is kind of narrated by a letter from Vivi, who, as the story progresses through the letter, he's like on his deathbed. He's reached the end of his life. And he's kind of saying goodbye to Zidane and everything that he taught him and everything. And it's like, oh, that was unexpected. Like, okay, we're going to cry about it. It's fine. But then, like, I guess it's been like a year or so that's passed. And Garnet's birthday is that time again. And the theater troupe has come back to re-perform the play from the beginning of the game. But now Garnet is queen. She has taken over her mother's role, who, you know, she dies earlier in the story. And everybody comes back together, and it's kind of like a reunion, but without Zidane and Vivi. Except Vivi has children.
Oh, yes.
He has little Vivis. There's a whole bunch of them just running around the place. So that's happy. Okay.
Yeah.
The ending gets me every time. My gosh. You get to watch the play. Well, really, it's pieces, right? You could, because you've seen part of the play, you get to, like, watch more of the play.
Yeah.
Where it's very Romeo and Juliet, like, which is a very Final Fantasy thing. They love to, like, when they do plays, it's always very Romeo and Juliet, tragic love, star-crossed lovers. But, like,
for the games, yep.
yeah, right. And so, like, the princess in the play dies. She gets, like, kidnapped, but the lover has to, like, the prince or whatever, he has to come and save her. But then, like, the king ends up, like, killing the princess. It's a whole thing. So he's kind of, like, waiting for the princess by the docks. He's going to leave with her. They're going to run away together. So he's given this big soliloquy to the sunrise, because that's when they were supposed to meet. And it's like, oh, tragic. And then, like, flings off his cloak.
Yes.
And it's Zidane. And then you get the ending where Garnet, like, jumps out of her seat and is like, what? And, just, like, runs through, like, she runs through the castle, runs through the audience to throw herself at him, and then she beats him up a little bit.
Yes.
And then they're crying, and it's like, oh my god. And everybody's there, and there's applauding, and the music, and the sun is streaming down, and it's just like...
It's a nice happy ending.
It's a nice happy ending.
Yes.
And I can't, every single time I play it, I I just can't. It makes me so happy.
Well, I think just in general too, like I really like I think it sticks out like with Vivi's letter and stuff. It's just that Vivi learned how to live instead of worrying about death. It's just to live life as best you can, and that's what everybody else was learning to do too. And we get our couple at the end.
And then like so you have all these happy moments, right? Like just like thrown right in, like boom boom boom.
Yeah.
Like oh my god. And then the credits start and you get the game's theme song, Melodies of Life, which is in the game itself. The song is actually sung by Garnet, where she like her mom taught her this song as like a little kid, but like she doesn't have memories of that because she is not the real princess, which is a whole other thing. That's part of her story. But she sings the song in portions throughout the game, and Zidane just kind of loves to just sit and listen to her sing, and it's a whole thing, but like Zidane also kind of remembers the song. Like it's really weird. But then at the end you get the full recorded version. And it talks, it's a song about love, but like memories remaining after death. And, as long as you're remembered, like you will continue to live on. It's very much like that. But it's a big thing. I love that song so much. It fills my heart. I used to, when I was it was in middle school, I lived across from a friend who did not have a PlayStation. He was an Xbox guy, the original OG Xbox. But after school every day, because both of our parents did not get home until like later on, like 5 or something. So I would get home, we'd get off the bus, I would run inside and I would pack up my PlayStation in my little bag and I would run it across the street and we would hastily connect the PlayStation to his TV and I would do the whole final battle sequence, the whole thing, so we could both sit there and listen to the song at the end. That was like daily for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how us old people listen to music.
That is,
yes.
You couldn't afford video game soundtracks if you could even find them.
Gosh.
So if you wanted to listen to a video game soundtrack, you had to find the cutscene in the game where it was playing and you'd just sit there. You gotta watch it.
That's fair. But yeah. No, it's definitely a great song to help just fully just wrap up the story, just bring it full circle. And I know that that's not the only piece of music I'm sure that you enjoy in this game.
Oh god, no. I'm like an aficionado of the Final Fantasy IX soundtrack. Yes. Like I have the physical collection. It's always on my phone. Like so going to college, right? In that lovely 3.5 hour drive from where I was from, my car ride would be popping in the Final Fantasy IX soundtrack. And I would basically have it done by the time I got back to school.
Nice.
Yeah. But also, like, with the music, like, the music tells the story with the game. Like, Melodies of Life, like, moments of that song are heard throughout so many other pieces of the story. You have the character themes. You have, like, your traditional Final Fantasy music. Like, the Chocobo theme is there. The prelude, which in most Final Fantasy games is, like, at the beginning. It's usually, like, the main start music. But you don't actually hear the prelude until the end scene, like the end screen. You hear it there. You have the Final Fantasy main theme, which always comes after the song in the credits. It like transitions into the main theme. There's a lot. Yeah. Was there any of it that stuck out to you?
Not particularly. I definitely think it just like it fit the vibe of the game.
Oh yeah,
and the style and stuff. And because that's the thing, I'm not gonna play a game and not listen to the music or not have the sound on, like, because that's a whole other part of the experience. Yeah.
Like, yeah. To the people who like listen to their own music while you're playing a game, like, why even live? I mean, I don't know.
I was just gonna say it pains me because you're just missing out on a part of what went into the creation of the game, and I think it helps you focus more. But I guess there's some games, sure. Or I guess you don't.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're playing like a one-player story game, like, you have got to be listening. Are you kidding me? If you're playing, like, if I play, like, Dreamlight Valley or, like, Stardew Valley or something like that, yeah, I'll turn a book on, I'll listen to music. I can do other things. But, like, for those, like, story-driven games...
Yeah, no.
Like, what? Why?
Please listen to the music or the background noise, anything. Just adds to it. And all the little sound effects. Yeah, no, it's just... Yeah.
Oh, the sound effects in 9 are just... Amazing. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but Final Fantasy IX, like, even though its battle system is slow, there's so many aspects of the game that are just good. Like, while the battle system is kind of the, like, equipment system is great. Like, learning abilities by equipping new pieces of equipment and, like, doing the AP thing and gaining points while you're wearing it. Loved that. That does not make a reappearance. For some reason, that system is not really seen much in Final Fantasy. Like, you kind of get it in 6, sort of. It's not quite the same thing. But, yeah, I suppose, like, there's, like, the Final Fantasy tactic games, but you don't have, like, a main cast. You just have, like, people. You can go and recruit people. And you learn classes, like, jobs and classes like that. But it's a whole different ramble.
Maybe we'll cover that at some point.
Oh, Lord. God knows. I don't know.
We'll see.
But there's so much to love about Final Fantasy IX in general. From the music to the story to the characters to how the game plays itself, It's been rumored for the last several years that there's supposed to be a remake for 9. And it's not so much like, oh, people have been saying it. It's like it keeps appearing in this leak and that leak and this thing and that thing with other games that have also been leaked and stuff. And those games were announced. But like this Final Fantasy IX remake keeps like evading us. But like next year, I think
it's this year is the 25th anniversary.
Oh, this year's the 25th anniversary. So people are wondering like if they've just been holding on to it, But I will die for a Final Fantasy IX remake.
I would be very intrigued to experience that for sure. But you know what? I was still glad I experienced this, and no matter what, this is, I guess, our also celebration of its 25th anniversary.
It sure is. It's wild for me too, because like I've played this game almost its entire life, and that's just wild. Personally, that's just wild.
It's so neat, that you've been able to continue to play it and still have that just personal aspect with it.
My relationship with this game will always be strong. I can't like not exist without this game. It's taught me so much about myself, about the world, having a positive, empathetic worldview, things like that. But that's not just specifically to Final Fantasy IX. That's just Final Fantasy in general. Like, I could have similar feelings about, like, Final Fantasy VIII. And, it's wild because I can't... My relationship to 7 is not that strong as, like, 9 and especially, 8 and 9. Not that all these things that we've talked about, these things that, like, make Final Fantasy a Final Fantasy game, like, they're present in 7 too. But maybe because, like, we get so much more 7 than everything else. Like, that's literally fair. Everything else. Because 9, I mean, it's just 9. There is nothing else. And 8, although 8's the same, I mean, there's just 8. There's no additional books you can read about it. There's no nothing. There's no nothings. So, there we are.
But all in all, I think we're saying give this game a go if you haven't already played it.
Oh, for sure. And you can get it on, like, literally everything.
Yeah. And they have really good sales on it, too.
So. Oh, yeah. Like, was it, like, $8 or something?
Yes.
Sale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't buy it off sale because it's like $23.
Yeah. But it does go on sale pretty regularly.
It does. So. Like all the Final Fantasy series games, they always go on sale. So go for it. Chelsea, do you have any like last bits of anything you'd like to say? Something that we missed?
I don't think so. I'm just glad that I can say that I've experienced another Final Fantasy game, and I'm looking forward to seeing which game we will play next.
Oh yeah. Like what Final Fantasy game should Chelsea play? She's played 7 Remake. She has 7 Rebirth.
Yes.
So she'll get someday. We have, I think as long as we get that next episode out before, like, the third one comes out.
I think we can manage
we'll be okay.
that. I think we'll be okay, yes.
But other than that, it's 7 Remake and 9. I think 10's probably a good candidate.
Yes, I think so. So maybe we'll cover that next, listeners.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll have another little break before we have a talk about the next Final Fantasy game.
Oh, we will. And actually, our next episode, though, is another video game.
Yes,
a little bit more modern.
Yes. A little bit, yes.
A little bit.
Very new.
It came out this year, so,
yes.
It's fine.
Oh, man, which I'm looking forward to talking about that game.
Oh, we had a blast, didn't we? Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Oh, man.
But listeners will have to wait and see.
Yes. So I think that'll do it for this episode.
I think that'll do. Our reflective, retrospective episode on Final Fantasy IX has reached its end. But if you've played it, let us know your thoughts. If you want to gush about it, if you want to whine about the battle system, we'll whine with you. It's okay.
Yes.
We're here for you. We support you. So let us know what your feelings on Final Fantasy IX are. Let us know your favorite characters, or the music that you love, or just Final Fantasy in general. Give Chelsea some inspiration, some motivation to get going on some more. Or maybe, like, there's not many Final Fantasy games that I haven't played, so see if you can figure those out. That I'll shamelessly agree on. But anyway, listeners, please make sure that you are following us everywhere that you can, especially on Blue Sky. We're trying our best to be a little more active there. We'll see how that goes, but shoot us an email, anything.
But once again, thanks for listening to this week's episode, and we hope you tune in to our next one with a very exciting video game review.
Oh, yes. All right, see ya.
Yeah.